Hello, my name is Remy, and today we're going to be ranking all of the Architects albums worst to best. Yes, the one and only legendary metalcore band Architects. They have released 10 albums over the span of 16 years. They're my personal favorite metalcore band, and their catalog has some of the greatest classics in overall metal. That's not to say every one of their albums was good though, so let's take a look into it, ranking all of them worst to best. Okay, at number 10, we have For Those That Wish to Exist from 2021. This is the album where Architects have just kind of completely lost their direction and sanity. It's a generic pop alternative metal album, and while it's not as quite awful as some people are saying it is, it's not great. I actually even think some of the production can range from mediocre to actually really good here. There are genuinely some great production moments here. The problem is that the songwriting and song ideas are sometimes just so awful they can throw away any potential the album had going for it in the first place. The melodic hooks on here just not hitting and ruin some of the great instrumentals with solid riffs. And the songwriting is kind of corny. I mean, I have to be honest. There are a few tracks on here I think are amazing, like Black Lungs, for example, but the project as a whole isn't good. My problem isn't the change in the sound. My problem is mostly the execution of the style. It shouldn't be this bloated and tasteless. If the whole album was like Black Lungs, I would have loved it, but it really wasn't. That was like the only slapper on the album. Best song, Black Lungs easily, and also Giving Blood, Dead Butterflies, and Impairments are also pretty good. Everything else, I don't care for at all whatsoever. At number 9, we got the latest, The Classic Symptoms of a Broken Spirit, dropped just last year. Look, 3 or 4 great songs, everything else is pretty mediocre. I think it's better than the last one. I'm a huge Architects fan, and I respect them going in a new direction, but the tracklist just needs to be stronger and more refined. The songwriting and vocals need to be better as well. I don't think that the fact that it's a new sound is necessarily terrible. The great tracks here clearly show they can pull it off. But in terms of releasing a whole album, it needs to be sharper. I think if they continue in this direction, they could eventually make something good. I'm not completely mad at this album though, because there are songs here I really like, but I would never listen to the whole thing again. It just needs to be more refined. Like, if you're gonna make an album like this, every song needs to be catchy and bang. If you're not gonna do that metalcore thing again, you're just gonna go full alternative rock, then you gotta make sure every single song slaps. And that's just not the case here. Favorite tracks though are A New Moral Low Ground, Burn Down My House, and Deep Fake. At number 8, we have the 2007's Ruin, Architect's first album with Sam Carter on the vocals. It's very standard metalcore. I just feel like they haven't really found their sound yet at this point. That would happen on Hollow Crown, which is the project following this one. But it's not bad. It's just kind of forgettable in their catalog. Also, a lot of the tracks here are extremely repetitive, and the whole album kind of sounds like one long song. But yeah, it's not terrible. It's okay. Favorite tracks are Low and Always. At number 7, we got the 2006 Nightmares. This is their debut album that has mathcore elements, and mathcore isn't a good genre in my opinion, but this album isn't bad. It's all over the place, but surprisingly solid for a mathcore or metalcore debut. Not really anything I'll return back to, except for like one song, but I somewhat enjoyed the listen. But I disagree with people saying that they should have continued this sound. Like, they absolutely shouldn't have continued this sound. Like, they would be nowhere today, but that's besides the point. They got so much better in their later catalog, in their later career, except for the 2 latest. That doesn't count. Favorite track on here is In the Desert. And yeah, it's okay. It's pretty good. At number 6, we have another album that's okay, and pretty good. It's from 2011, The Here and Now. A lot of people shit on this album. It's not bad, actually, in my opinion. A lot of the instrumentation here is great. The problem is that Sam doesn't really pull off a great performance on all of the songs. He does on a few songs, like Heartburn or An Open Letter to Myself, but on a lot of the other tracks, he comes off kind of mild and just really average or boring. The instrumentals are kind of average too, but there are some beautiful moments in terms of the production here. It's just something different for Architects and has a couple of great songs, but overly as a body of work, it's just kind of there. Favorite tracks are Heartburn and An Open Letter to Myself. At number 5, we got the most controversial pick on this list, I already know. It was Lost Forever, Lost Together from 2014. This is easily Architect's most acclaimed or second most acclaimed album, and I just don't think it's anywhere near their best, honestly. Like, the first and the last 3 tracks are good. Everything in the middle is lacking for me. The songwriting is occasionally really bad on songs like The Devil Is Near. Like, what the fuck is that? The vocal style in that just aged terribly on that song. I genuinely think, in terms of the lyrics, this is easily one of the weakest projects from Architects. Then, in terms of instrumental and structure wise, it's definitely one of the better ones. You know, the project is definitely nowhere near like their best work, and I don't get why it's rated so high, but you know, to each is their own. Some Architects classics are on here though, and I overly like the album, but it's just not as good as everyone else is saying, in my opinion. Favorite tracks would have to be Broken Cross, that's a banger, Gravedigger, and also Naysayer. At number 4, we have the 2012 Daybreaker. This one started off really promising, but unfortunately dipped after the first 5 songs. Went downhill in quality. The project is still really solid though, definitely some major classics on here. Just wish they didn't put the best songs all in the beginning of the album. I still really like it though, but all the 3 albums I will name now in the top 3 are all on another level to this album. Like, it's a huge jump. Again, though, good album, just not their best. Favorite tracks are Alpha Omega, These Colors Don't Run, The Bitter End, Daybreak, and Truth Be Told. At number 3, we got 2009's Hollow Crown. Moving into the territory of albums that are absolutely fantastic, at least 9 out of 10s for me. Starting off with Hollow Crown. I was not expecting to love this so much, but this is one of their best albums, easily. It's amazing all the way through, their heaviest as well. It just feels so alive, energetic, and full of amazing ideas. Writing is amazing too. The riffs and performances are gritty, it's just incredible. And then it ends with a gorgeous melodic song. Hollow Crown is also my favorite Architects artwork, so everything about this is pretty much almost perfect. Absolutely amazing. Favorite tracks are Dethroned, Early Grave, Inelegance, Numbers Count for Nothing, Follow the Water, Every Last Breath, and Dead March. At number 2, we have Holy Hell from 2018. This is the first album after the unfortunate passing of Tom Searle, with Architects bringing in Josh Middleton as their new guitarist, and it works better than anyone could have ever expected, honestly. This album is magnificent and easily their second best so far. Fucking fantastic and legendary already, even though it's been like 4 years. This album beautifully ended an era for the band in the best way possible. Hereafter is literally one of the best songs I've ever heard. That guitar riff is just insane. It's insanely good. I play that song at least like 10 times every day. So yeah, album is amazing. It's a perfect mixture of modern and OG metalcore. It's amazing. Favorite tracks are Hereafter, Royal Beggars, Mortal After All, Holy Hell, Dying to Heal, Doomsday, Death Is Not Defeat, and Wasted Hymn. You know, pretty much the whole track list. And at number 1, we have All Our Gods Have Abandoned Us from 2016. This album is an easy 10 out of 10. I play the whole thing every single day multiple times and never get tired of it, still to this day. Absolutely mind-blowing. The greatest of guitar riffs, magnificent emotional songwriting, and outstanding vocals from Sam with amazing melodies and impact. Fantastic, flawless. One of the greatest things I've ever heard in my entire life, literally. Just absolutely fucking flawless. That's it. Don't have anything else to say. Like, it's super emotional, dark, with the best possible production and songwriting. Like, that's exactly how I like my metalcore. Executed perfectly without one single flaw I could point out. This album ended up being in my top 20 favorite albums of all time. I can't even name you the favorite tracks because literally every single song. But if I had to pick one, a single song, if I had to pick one, it would be probably Gone with the Wind. That song is something else, extremely emotionally depressing. Probably the best Architect song ever released, you know? Rest in peace Tom Searle. He was a legend. Like, this album really shows his talents and abilities, especially on the guitar work, but also the songwriting, especially in this song. So yeah, this album is amazing. It's fantastic. So yeah, that was my Architects ranking. Let me know how you felt about it in the comments down below. And check me out on Album of the Year. Link in the description. I have all my reviews there, all my lists. Check it out. It's a good platform. It's a good platform. Join it. It's fun. Yeah, that's about it. Remy's Reviews signing out, and subscribe because the next video is gonna be lit.